Hey, it's Read from Emerald Lotus, a website that shares free weekly tarot resources for you. And today I'm excited because we are going back to look at my February predictions using my month ahead casting mat. So you might have watched that video. If you did not see it and you're interested in it, I will link it in the cards above, but we'll go over it in this video anyway, so don't worry about it if you missed it. I really just want to see how accurate my predictions were for February, and you guys wanted to see it as well. So I was very diligent and I took notes because I use my daily planner now. This one is from Papier and I'm obsessed with it. I use this planner every single day because I just realized that I was a little bit too busy not to have a planner like this. So I laugh, but it's true. So I started using my planner every single day, and I've been diligent with it for 2021. But what I did extra is on the bottom of my days in my notebook, I actually also took notes on specific things that happened that day, like if I was really grumpy or if something really great happened that I wouldn't actually normally write in my daily planner. I took extra notes just to help me remember specifically what happened on each day, so that when we go back and look at my February predictions, I can actually see how accurate it was and really remember without misremembering how I felt, because it's hard to remember how you felt on a day-to-day basis for a whole month, you know? So I'm very excited to do that, and then at the end of this video, I'm thinking I will just quickly do a March prediction, and you guys can let me know if you want me to do a reaction to that video as well. I know people wanted to see this, so this is why I'm filming it. So if you wanted to see this, I hope you enjoy it. If you didn't, then I'm so sorry, but here we are. So I just have to pull up my I have my camera open. I just have to pull up my last video because I don't think I actually took a picture of the charms. So I need to like go to my own YouTube channel and look up my video. Here it is. This is kind of like Inception. Hey, it's me, Read from Emerald like Lotus, you're watching my video. Today we're gonna be doing some charm casting. So, oh my goodness, I'm too much. Okay, so where's the part where I actually, oh, my mom responding to a cloth that I sent her a picture of that hasn't been released yet, that I filmed for my patrons. Oh, by the way, I also have a Patreon now, so I will link that down below. It has exclusive content, stuff that I won't list anywhere else, early access to things, and also it's just really fun. Like, you know, we do some polls on there and chat. I share some of my artwork that I don't usually share online. And they actually got a video before this one using one of my new charm casting cloths that I won't be releasing for a little bit, but I did a reading for them in my third tier. So that was really cool. And I sent my mom a picture of the cloth and she just answered saying, "It's so pretty. I haven't seen that one yet," because, you know, it hasn't been released yet. So mom got the exclusive. Okay, so I think this is a pretty good depiction of what the charms looked like. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot this, and I will put it in the video so you guys can see it, and I'm gonna use this as reference. On the first it said love. That, to me, I actually didn't really find that one to be accurate. I had the hearts on that one, which usually means like soulmate, love. I live with my husband, I'm with him, but I didn't notice anything in particular on that day relating to the love charms, just saying. So this is a brutally honest review of my prediction skills with my charms. This is why I don't offer charm casting as a paid offering, by the way, because my tarot reading's accurate. My charm casting, yeah, I don't know how accurate it is. It's just something I enjoy doing. So this is why I kind of like doing these videos and why I actually have been playing with charms so much, because I'm really trying to see if it's something that I really resonate with and love doing, and actually want to use as like a predictive tool, or if it's more just something that I think is fun and better for like the moment-to-moment readings, because I have had very deep readings that related to like my current state with charms, but as a predictive tool, so far I am definitely like a tarot predictive fool well, probably, but tarot predictive tool fan. I love using tarot for predictive, and I find it very, 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 very accurate. But charm casting, I'm not so sold on. So this is a great way to tell if it actually works for me. You guys should totally do this along with me every month and see how yours is. Let me know, film some videos, because I'm curious. It's fun to see. Okay, sorry. So The next charm that we really see is on the Friday, the 5th, which is that little mirror. Which actually really makes sense because around this time, so I was supposed to be moving on that day. When I did my charm reading in the first place, I got that Route 66 and I was supposed to be actually moving on Friday or Saturday. But what ended up happening was the Canadian government started changing their regulations as it related to international travel. And because of that, our flights got canceled and they had to book us on another flight like over a week earlier. So we basically had like 2 days to get ready to pack up and leave and move back to Canada when we thought we had over a week left. We didn't have that much stuff because we were only there for like 4 or 5 months, but it was still very stressful and hectic. So that Friday was the day that I was supposed to move, which actually the charms had predicted in the first reading. But it ended up not actually being that I traveled on that day because I was actually in quarantine in Canada and I did not travel that day. So interesting to note that it had kind of that mirror and also the Route 66, but I didn't end up actually traveling. But I filmed that video like well before I even had the knowledge that I wouldn't be traveling on that day. And then also having that mirror on that day, that mirror to me is very much like shadow work, introspection, like putting the mirror up to yourself. So really interesting to see the mirror on that day as well with the travel. It's almost like, did the charms know that I wasn't going to be traveling? And so they're putting that mirror as in like, you know, it's reflecting something back to me and like we're now talking about it? Or was that a message that was supposed to have happened? It's really weird. Let me know what you guys think about that one. I'm super curious. So then the next major charms fall on the Monday of that week. So that one actually was really interesting. So I noted in my journal that I had lots of work, but I just wanted to create and work on art. So I remember this day specifically because I was so busy at my job, but I had a lot of ideas creatively that I really, really wanted to work on, but I felt like I couldn't. So that key and the handcuffs actually really make sense for me in relation to how I felt about that. So really interesting. The money charm is also very interesting because I had a lot of drama with my Etsy at the time because I had just moved to Canada, but I was still selling on my Etsy and I was in quarantine. So I had to figure out how to send my parcels while being in quarantine, so not being able to leave the house. And I was having some printing drama with the printer that I had in my home. And so it was like a very stressful day and I was really thinking that I was gonna have to refund all the purchases that I had on my Etsy. So the money sign next to the handcuffs and the key actually also makes sense. I didn't actually gain money that day necessarily, but I was really paranoid and worried that my business was gonna suffer and that people were gonna be upset. And I was upset personally because I just didn't wanna do the logistics of life that day. I just wanted to create. So the next one that we see is Thursday of that week. So on that day I wrote Canada Post drama with 2 money signs and I said but happy. And I remember that because I actually had to pay for shipping for all of my Etsy orders that week twice because Canada Post wouldn't let me reprint my tracking information for them, so I had to repurchase everything over again. So I was super busy scrambling that day to get that solved, so that busy bee absolutely makes sense. And the DNA is actually really interesting. So I wonder if that is like, to me, that almost says that it's like my ancestral connection to the stresses that I have and to how I relate to like what's going on. And that's really interesting to me. And then that also kind of has the Route 66 on it as well. Because that 66 kind of covered all 4 days. So that's also interesting. And then the following day, I had a gift and the little tank, which is interesting because I actually had a call with a tarot client that day and we spoke on the phone for a couple of hours and it was really a gift to me because I felt really inspired and happy after the call. But the tank makes sense because it was a really serious discussion that we had about a reading that they had that was very deep. So interesting because it was a gift, but it was also a challenging conversation, especially while we were kind of digging through the things that she was experiencing in her life. So really interesting that came up on that day. Certainly felt like a gift. I was really like happy after and I felt really soul fulfilled after doing that call. So very cool. And then on the Sunday of that week was Valentine's Day, the marriage charms and then the castle charms. And my husband and I were together that day, but we were stuck in the castle because we were still in quarantine. But it was actually our last day of quarantine on that day. Like we were, we were allowed to be free on that day. So that's really interesting that the castle came up there because it's almost like we were free from the castle on that day. And then on Monday the 15th, I actually had that day off work because in Canada it is a stat holiday. It's called in Manitoba the Louis Riel Day. Or sorry, it's not a Canadian holiday. It's just a provincial holiday, but it's a holiday anyway. So the snail kind of makes sense because I just took the day off and I really just like hung out that day. The gin, confused about that because I have no sign in my journal that like I drank or that anything would relate to alcohol necessarily. So, and then on the Tuesday we have like creation. I had a tarot spread go live that day, so could represent the crayon box. And then the following day, I created 2 new altar cloths, it says in my journal, and so that's interesting. So the creative and the broom is interesting there because I actually did end up creating like 2 new products that I'd be selling in my shop that day. The brush, I don't know. So Pisces season began on the following day with kind of that brush there. It's sort of in all 3. I don't really know the brush's meaning necessarily in my own personal life, although I have been really wanting to get my hair cut because it's been so long and it's honestly been on my mind like all of the month, so maybe that has something to do with that, but I don't go for another little while, so it's kind of brutal. But it's like first world problems. Sunday of that week, we had the protected, the creative. I actually didn't take any notes on that day, sadly. But that would have been last Sunday. So I'm actually working on a project that I've been doing that I don't really want to talk about too much, but it's something I've never done before creatively. So that could totally make sense. My sales in my Etsy shop have also been absolutely exploding in the past couple weeks. So that could also represent that as well. And the protected sign actually makes sense because I've been feeling very connected to higher energy, like that very like divine guidance, and I've been really connecting with spirit. So actually that does make sense even though I don't specifically have notes on it. And Tuesday, I said that I felt so creative on that day. That was, I don't know about a call on that day because I can't remember, but I don't think I had any calls or anything on that day relating to the phone, but I was really creative. And then Wednesday, that's the day that I launched my Patreon, and I really felt like I was giving myself permission to just enjoy my life and to do the things that I wanted to do without waiting for somebody to give me permission. So that totally makes sense actually, with like the candy and just like enjoying life. And then on the Friday, I actually filmed a bunch of videos that day and did a lot of like pick-a-pile readings and that sort of thing, so that also makes sense. I actually didn't know this at the beginning of the reading when I did it last month, but this Saturday date here is actually full moon, so that's so interesting that the astrology charm is there on that day as well. And that day I also did a breathwork class, so the cap and scroll actually makes perfect sense, and the justice and the cup on the last day of February. I did feel super fulfilled and happy. My cup did feel very full, especially as I looked back on the month, like doing my full moon rituals and that sort of thing. And yeah, so now we're entering March, and it's still not actually March 3rd, so I don't actually know of this one yet. So we'll have to check in on the March dates to see what this kind of Alice and witch's hat and suitcase meant, because I don't know actually at the current time. So let's see how accurate it is this month now that we're learning a little bit more about the charms. This month I decided to put less charms on the mat, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but I've been enjoying using a little bit less than I was in the past. I used to use like way too many that I felt like it was just, the messages were kind of getting muddled. So this time I decided to just make them a little bit less, and I'm really excited. It's on my nice little resin little coaster thing that I've created. I love to use this thing. So let's do our month ahead, March 2021 casting prediction. So the 1st of March is Monday here, and I actually don't even know how many days there are in March because I'm an idiot. Okay, so the 31st of March is the Wednesday. Okay, so we're going Monday to Wednesday. Anything that falls beyond it is, I guess, out for the count. So let's see. What can we, oh, I lost the turtle. What can we expect for March 2021? Oh, wow. Okay, so we'll give this a nice little overview so that I can see it next time. And I will see you guys at the end of March to see how accurate this one was. And I will continue to take notes. Let me know if you have any feedback on this video and if I should do it in a different way or if something else makes more sense. Let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed it and if I actually should keep doing this or if it's something that, you know, you're not that into. Let me know. So what did you guys think? Did you think the February casting was accurate? Did you agree or disagree with any of my interpretations? Let me know, and I always appreciate your comments. So thank you so much for being here, for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.